Sure, great. Well, thanks for having me. My name is Kevin Cornell, aka Mr. C. I'm an educator. I've been there doing it for 15 years, and my niche and what I'm really into is the fact that I like to make music, build videos and media for kids, and learn through media production, essentially.
Cool.
That's awesome.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of fun. You know, I started doing this many years ago when I was in my classroom, and folks just came up to me. My kids were like, "Hey, we should just start making some songs." I was like, "Oh, we're working on it right now." And so it was like living in a musical at my class and in my house. So why not put it together and just do some really cool stuff with kids?
That's really awesome.
Cool.
Yeah, very envious. That sounds like just there's the fun part about your part of education is we have a good time. You know, when a educator finds that good time, but, making music, man, you can't beat that with a stick.
Absolutely. And the biggest thing I've always said is we are given parameters what we have to play in the sandbox, but we get to build a castle inside that sandbox. So we do whatever we want within the context we're allowed to do it. And so just take over the world one class at a time.
That's awesome.
That is awesome.
So
go ahead.
We like to step on each other.
I see that.
So what's happening for you at FETC?
So this year I came back down here, and I'm actually doing a poster session. And it's one of my programs that I do. It's called Grab the Mic. So it's the musical integration concept. And so what I do is I actually back up in Dayton, Ohio is where I'm from. I go to classes and I work with different folks, and we actually make music on the fly. So I'll go and embed myself in classrooms for a couple of days with some kids, and we'll do music from scratch, whether it's on using GarageBand on the iPad or using a MacBook Pro or whatever it is making the music on the fly. And then they write curriculum, they write songs to talk about what they've actually been learning about. So, taking that step and articulating and sharing what you've learned, it's a very powerful concept because it really embeds what you have learned. So they're learning and they're helping others learn. And by doing that, it just keeps sharing.
Yeah. So what core areas do you cover? Everything?
Can be anything. Yeah. So I was a science teacher for 7 years, and that's kind of where I got going with it. And so I did science. I had a whole first CD when we still use CDs.
Yeah.
And so before going on to iTunes, and then I actually bumped into math. And then, so really math and science are the two things I really focus on.
Yeah. And that's really great, making songs about math and science. Yeah. That's awesome. So, that's really interesting when you said that. I realized that your improvisational skills are probably really high. But to share that with kids and let them understand their improvisational skills in that area, it's got to be a hoot. Yeah,
it's a lot of fun because when you actually get in front of a group of kids and you start playing and you're actually learning about music and timing, and then, it grows. It's more than just me being improv and doing things with kids on the fly, but you get our teacher involved. They do the cover artwork for the CD, for the album, and then you have your music teacher who's working on the rhythm and the pacing with the kids. So you have this whole idea of things that can really build really quickly and naturally. It's a lot of fun. And the improv thing, so I was doing this for many years, and I left the classroom after 7 years, became an administrator. And I'm actually the director for the Dayton Regional STEM Center right now.
Oh, cool.
And so I get to play in the world of STEM all the time: science, tech, engineering, math. But the really cool thing is I actually also get to host a live science show up in Dayton. We do it at the Engineers Club. So roughly every month we have like 300 people come, and being on front of the stage, we use my music, we use all those different things.
That is so cool.
Yeah, it's a really good time, and it's all about learning and inspiring kids to learn. So that's what it's about. That's why we're all here.
And one of the things that I like about the approach, and definitely correct me if I'm going down the wrong path here, but one of the things you mentioned was all the different subject areas that get involved. So if you have students who music really isn't their thing, but art is or writing is, they can still be completely immersed and involved in this from their aspect, helping the students who do want to sing or who do want to play a particular instrument or that type of thing, where I just think of, I don't know, like when I was a kid, I loved writing, and you wouldn't, I know it's hard to believe now, but you wouldn't have got me in front of a microphone to save my life. So I would not have been on that side of things, but I would have loved to have been involved in the actual songwriting process.
Absolutely, right? And that's kind of the glory of this, and this idea is that you can inspire kids to do great things, and they don't always have to be in the limelight, right? Not everybody enjoys that. Obviously, you didn't at one point, but you seem to enjoy it right now. But the whole idea is that, we inspire people through music. And if you stop right now, I could probably ask both of you a song off the top of your head. You could probably sing some of the lyrics to those songs.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, sure.
So when I was in the classroom teaching, literally we have our state tests, and I could see my kids, like, in their head, they are bobbing to the lyrics, and they're doing their thing, and they get to the lyrics, part of the song that they need to help them with the test question, and then boom, they got it. So, we connect with words, and it's powerful, it's emotional, and it's a good thing.
Yeah.
So the video aspect, Bring us into that. When did that come about? Did it come out at the same time, or did you go, YouTube's awesome, let me get this stuff out there?
Yeah, that's great. I wish I would have jumped on YouTube sooner. But what happened was being an educator, you always had the fear of sticking your neck out, making yourself really public on social media, right? Because you heard all the horror stories. So I started doing music with my kids probably 2003, 2004, a couple years into teaching. And then I sat on it, and then we started making the videos and really went on to social media around 2010. So it's only been a couple of years, relatively speaking. But, that whole part of it was the most exciting part, because now people are out there using your content. They're showing it to their kids. They're seeing your face. They're hearing your voice. It's awesome. Yeah. And so that lent itself to, I actually got selected as Ohio's PBS Digital Innovator also.
Yeah. Nice.
So Dan Cook, you guys may recognize that name.
Yeah.
He's Florida's. And so, they shipped us out to Denver, and that's opened up the doors. So I've worked with national PBS, and I'm working with my local PBS now on various projects and everything like that. So, the music, it's inspired a lot of people. And so I'm hoping to keep growing it.
Yeah, that's really
very cool, man.
That's what's interesting. You said that about getting out there, and that's what this is about for us. We're here just to let people have a voice. And once we get them in the chair and we start talking, they realize how easy it is. And that, just do it. That was, for us too. You know how hard it is to come in front of your peers and ask them to sit down, and you're talking on the radio, on a podcast. It's very hard to do, but it's very enlightening. For us, we learn more sitting at this table at a conference than most people would even probably comprehend, because we get to meet people like you and say, let's get in depth about this. But you mentioned something there that's really interesting. PBS video, social media. That is the new market for kids. I mean, that's video,
absolutely.
Social media. I think of all the students I have out there that are working at a company or a startup who might even be their social media director, and these kids are making wonderful livings, learning how to write 140 characters and get their point across. And that brings me right back to music. 140 characters, that's the chorus for us.
That's right. That's exactly right.
That's the hook.
That's the hook.
That's the hook that we're looking for. And can you write a hook like that? So I can see, where this all plays into itself. I just want to make a notation there about that. It was in my brain at the point.
Hey, that's
so
good.
That brings me to your poster session.
Yeah.
Tell us about it.
So the poster session, basically, I have an hour to hang out with folks to come and talk to me about what's going on. Mm-hmm. And I brought my tube with me, and traveling with that tube has been fun, to say the least. Everybody looks at you at the airport like you're crazy, which in fact I am.
What do you got in the tube?
Yeah, exactly. And you do a poster session at the airport, it's a whole different thing. But so the session itself kind of walks you through the process. You create, compose, you publish the stuff. And basically, I have little snippets of what you do at each of those stages with the kids. And so, whether you are a district that's one-to-one, or you have laptop cards or iPad cards, there's a place for this in any classroom. Mm-hmm. When I started doing this, 14 years ago, I took in a CD player and I took in a karaoke Christmas version of songs, and we wrote Christmas tunes. So instead of, Frosty the Snowman, we built an ecosystem, and they took that whole set of lyrics and they recreated something to help others learn via Christmas tunes.
Yeah.
And so, there's a place for it in any classroom, and that's the glory of it. So if you don't have the funds, you don't have the means to get one-to-one iPads, that's okay. If you have 5 iPads, you can still pull it off. GarageBand is fairly cheap. Mm-hmm. It's super intuitive to learn. And, the biggest hurdle is teachers sometimes think it's scary to do this stuff, and it's not, because the experts are in the room. It's your kids.
That's exactly
So you just let them loose. You give them the parameters, let them play, give them the wall, give them that sandbox we were talking about earlier, and just let them run and build their castle, because they will. Yeah. You just have to let them. It's okay to get your hands and feet wet and get dirty. You always wash it off and start over.
Yeah, exactly. Right. That's that game mode reset. Let's go back and play again, respawn.
And really, that's what we do, whether it's in science or whether it's in math or engineering. We have to encourage kids to make those mistakes. And when we do, they do great things because they learn from their mistakes. It's red ink, right? Red ink's on paper so that you can find your mistakes and fix them. It's not there to be permanent.
That's right.
Exactly.
Sorry, my train of thought was lost. It got loud in here all of a sudden, and I realized that more people were walking by. I was going to ask you a question about what you just said, and I completely forgot what my question was.
Okay, well, then I'll take something else.
You go.
We work with many educators in Arkansas, and there's one of the folks that I like to work with a whole lot. She does a thing where in the past, of course, things have evolved, right, in terms of assignments and assessments and how do you assess what students know, for the content knowledge. And she used to have, and she still does, but she had her students would make a newspaper based on whatever they were reading. So let's just say it was, I don't know, Hamlet or something, right? And so she would have her students, and they would have to pick a character and make a newspaper and do this, blah, blah, blah. Well, she had one student who came to her and said, newspaper's not really my thing. I like to rap. So could I do this and make a rap? And she said, okay, you have the exact same rubric everybody else does. You have to cover these points. You know where you stand. You know what you have to hit. And so she said, give it a shot. And so he made this rap. And she put it on YouTube, but he made this rap about whatever it was, Hamlet or whatever I can't remember what the story was. But she said what was really interesting was that when he actually wrote most of it out first, mainly to make sure he got all the points that he needed, to make sure that he hit those high points on the rubric. But also, as he was writing it out, he realized, well, wait a minute, this meter isn't right, and it's rap, so most rap, not all rap, but most rap, has a certain pattern to it. And he realized that the way he was just writing things out didn't really match the rap style that he enjoyed. The words didn't rhyme where he wanted them to rhyme, that kind of thing. And so he had to go back and rewrite. So he went through this entire editing process without necessarily realizing that that's what he was doing. I mean, he was doing it, but that was all part of the overall project. And so when he recorded it the first time, she said he hated it, absolutely hated it. She thought it was awesome. It was the first time a student had done it, and he absolutely hated it. And so it goes back to that whole thing about, here's your sandbox, but you do what you want to, right, however you want, like you say, however you want that castle to look, you make it look. And if it turns out that you got to knock down this wall in order to build it a different way, or you have to take the front off in order to get it to match the back, or whatever you need to do, you can scrub this and start over. You still have the four walls you have to live in, but inside there, you do it how you want to do it. I think it's awesome, the stuff that you're doing.
Yeah, and the kicker is it's all cross curricular. You bring in art, you bring in music, you bring in literature, obviously Hamlet. I mean, think of Hamlet on stage right now, right? I mean, it's crazy.
Right.
I mean, there's production right there, with musical. Yeah. And the whole idea is that it's all about poetry for me, right? I mean, you're talking about kids rhyming and pattern and verse, and that's what a song is. I mean, you break a song down in multiple parts. They have a different rhythm and pattern to it, but it's really just a big piece of poetry. So it's a really cool thing, and I'm hoping to get more people out doing it. And I presented up. When was it? October, I think, up at OCTM, Ohio Council of Teachers of Mathematics, and I did a presentation about the music thing. Had a great turnout there as well, and we just got to get people using it more and making them understand it's a feasible integration. It's not that you're losing time, you're actually making time up, because you're going to have all these pieces of media that can now be used in the future to help other kids learn. So it doesn't stop there. You build a repertoire, and then all of a sudden everybody's using it.
Massive cloud library.
Cool. Yeah, absolutely. Right. That's the idea.
That's a great thing. And we notice that a lot. We talk about, hey, how easy it is to podcast in the classroom. It's, you can do a 1940s radio show, you can do debates, you can do anything, book discussions, you name it. We also get to the technical aspect of it, which you and I were talking about earlier. That's a whole nother set of, workshops. And I was always thinking one day we're going to get past that, but a guest yesterday made a good point that you just have to stay on top of it. It changes so quickly. The moment we find the right app, or we find the right microphone, or we find the right thing,
it's out of date.
It's out of date. We got something else. Interestingly enough, though, that's not really true. I play a bass that's 140 years old. Still plays beautifully, still does all my gigs, and I still use a Fishman pickup from 1988. So we have to remember sometimes that, no, we can actually still do the same stuff that we were doing with this equipment. And I know you run into that probably a lot. Like, you get to a place and go, well, this is the equipment we need, or this is equipment that you don't have. And actually, this will probably work. Do you run into that a lot? Where you?
It just depends. Yeah. So 9 out of 10 times, what I have exists and works just perfectly fine. It's more of what I'd like to have. The newer, the better.
Well, that's true.
Right? It's the upgrade, right? Yeah. So, like I had an old drum set that I had for 15 years, and I finally let it go because the electronic kits are just so nice. Much easier and crisp, and you don't drive the neighbors crazy. So, I grew up behind a pair of drumsticks. So, that's kind of what inspired me to get into the music part. And
that's awesome.
We have a lot of lineage in my family with music and connecting it to it. We lived overseas. Long story short, my brother had all sorts of hits over there, and so
that's cool.
It's just staying connected with music is so powerful.
That's awesome. See, I'm glad you incorporate it into your life, and make it incorporate other people's lives.
Yeah.
Well, cool. So if folks want to get in touch with you, so Twitter handle.
So my Twitter handle is @OriginalMrC. It's my Instagram handle as well. And then if you want to check out my stuff, it's on YouTube. My YouTube channel is Learning Science is Fun.
Okay.
And then I also have a website, learningscienceisfun.com.
Cool.
Because learning science is fun.
We'll tweet that out. So something we like to do with some of our guests, and you're one of those guests. So 45-second
Yahtzee.
45-second elevator pitch. You get on the elevator, there's your hero, and they say, who are you? What do you do? Why do I need to know you?
All right, so 45 seconds. All right, on the spot. So, hey, who is my hero? That's the first question. So, hey, hero, it's Mr. C, a.k.a. Kevin Cornell, or vice versa. One thing you really need to know is that music is a huge, powerful piece of everybody's lives, and I would love it if you could get involved with me to do more music each and every day. More importantly, get kids excited about music in the schools. And check out some of my stuff at learningscienceisfun.com, because Mr. C makes learning science fun and believes learning science should be fun for everyone. So it's awesome. It's fun. Get involved. Make sure that you out there, everyone listening, grab the mic, musical integration concept, and do small things to make a big